this shit can't be in the light of day. This shit can't be in the light of day. People can't know me like that.
Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
So I'm just like trying to, act nice or whatever the fuck. And I feel like if people, not that I'm not nice.
Die. Slow. I hope your eyes fucking pop out of your head and you bleed from all your orifices, bitch.
This video is to raise concern on a social media influencer who has 98,000 followers on TikTok and also streams on Twitch, where they practice normalizing anti-Semitism, jokes about children that she has worked with being abused.
I illustrate children's books freelance.
And discusses blackmail and recording tactics that can be used in Hollywood to get herself a higher paying position.
To get myself a higher paying position and then fucking blackmail that bitch. I fucking recorded your ass.
I worked as a personal assistant part-time. And then when God favors me, I work on TV sets, working on graphics. So creating signage and helping decorate sets for shows. But right now, I either work as the graphics artist on sets or just as a art department PA.
This woman in her 30s goes by the name of Rachel Ford. This is not just a potential threat to the victim that she's targeting as well as people around her, but it's also a threat to the Me Too movement. Victims who fought to have their voices heard just to have it cheapened by Rachel Ford, verbatim saying that she is looking for people to prey upon. This actually endangers real survivors of the Me Too movement because who will actually take the real survivors seriously. I'm going to show you some following clips. Disclaimer, they're going to be out of context, but if you watch this full video, you will watch as they get their contextuality.
And die. Slow. I hope your eyes pop out of your head and you bleed from all your orifices, bitch. The guy who's the producer of Blackish, right? He wanted me to meet him for lunch or whatever.
I did have to go to, a couple of weeks of anger management, threatening her unborn child.
I'm looking for people to try to prey upon.
Every guy that I've ever dated was actually abused.
I worked at this center, so I would administer tests on these fucked up little kids, right? But they'd be abused in ways that made you angry. I don't care about children and all that shit. I'm waiting for my opportunity to lull you into a sense of security, to wait for a moment where you're depending on me the most you ever had in your life. So how did we ever have a chance as her children? I had 600,000 followers on Vine.
Now that you saw that, you know where this is going. I want to make it clear that everything you're about to see is within context. If Rachel Ford feels like anything is out of context, she could always leave a comment down below, get in contact with me, and we can have a discussion live on her platform in front of her audience. I'll be willing to save the live stream and post it over here to my YouTube channel. It'll be the pinned comment down below. If you see this video 6 months from now and there's no pinned comment down below, that means that she declined the offer. And if these clips was out of context, there would be no reason to decline the offer. Call me out publicly on your platform. What you're about to see Rachel Ford say on video today, I must say, if you ever see me say anything like this on video, please make a video like I'm making today, calling me out. I even encourage you to download a copy of this video so you can have me saying that on camera forever.
Do it. Do it.
I want to lead by example. Hopefully Rachel Ford will follow those footsteps. One thing I am not is a hypocrite. All throughout this video, you're going to see different hashtags pop up on the side of the screen. This is not like a witch hunt on this person or anything like that. This is just to start discussions on different platforms, whether it be Blue Sky, X, Instagram, Reddit, TikTok, or any other website that I might not be thinking about. You can use these hashtags to discuss this video or the shorts, because I'm going to be posting 20 shorts on my social medias as well. Use these different hashtags that's going to pop up throughout the video to just join the discussion. To ask certain questions. Why is Twitch allowing anti-Semitism on their platform? If children's authors was aware that the Illustrator was online making jokes about abused children that they worked with, would the authors be okay with that? And when it comes to Hollywood, is it normal for set designers and personal assistants to discuss blackmailing people that they have worked with in order to get a higher paying position? And how does the Me Too movement feel about this, knowing that all the hard work that they had to go through to be taken seriously? That's a question for you to answer after watching this documentary. I'm just a narrator. Let's get into it. Let me take a sip before I get started. Start no mess won't be no mess. For those in the Hollywood industry, directors, executive producers, people in the art department, personal assistants, listen closely, because now we're about to hear Rachel M. Ford discuss on Twitch blackmail tactics via recording to get a higher paying position in Hollywood.
Am I wrong? Okay, we're gonna preface the story so you guys get the full context. A little while ago, I was working on set. So, and we had our first initial filming, and then we had wraps. So the first initial filming was sometime in September. It was in September, right? So I was it was my first show that I've ever done. where I was like on set, right? And I was trying to meet everybody, you know, network, all that type of shit. Okay. So I was in the art department and I was networking with just like people who worked in like the film department, lighting, like all that type of stuff. And then when I got called back, I decided it would be a good idea in December to send out an email to everyone I made a connection with who was like the head of their department, to be like, hey, this is me, here's my resume, so you have my contact or whatever. If you ever need a PA or something, hit me up, right? So the email was well received, okay? And I emailed one of the people who's like the head of like the film department, right? And he's like, oh yeah, you live in this neighborhood, great hikes over there. And I was like, yeah, anyway, if you're ever in the area, like, let me know. So I'm like being like, oh yeah, like I'm free Wednesday, ha ha ha. He's like, great, Wednesday, 3 p.m. we'll meet at like this trail. See you then. Here's my number. I don't think it matters to a lot of men if they're 15 years older than a woman. I think they would think everything is fair game. So I don't know. So then I started to think to myself like, oh, let me start asking people's opinions of what they think. So I hit up a PA that like works under him, and I was like, hey, you know so-and-so. Is he creepy? And he's like, no, he's a great guy. I was like, cool. This person is like a really nice person.
Alright, so now that we have the full context, you heard it yourself. She reached out to another PA, personal assistant, someone who works under this guy, and was told that he's a great guy. No red flags, no concerns. But after having some time to think it over, she went on her next live stream and discussed blackmailing him. She described the plan to lead him on, record him, and use it against him if he took the relationship seriously. This is not just manipulation, this is a weaponization of the Me Too movement. It minimalizes actual victims and makes it harder for real survivors to be believed. This is not some little teenage drama. This is a grown woman in her 30s discussing manipulation tactics that could potentially destroy someone's entire career under false pretenses, as well as their mental health. This is not a joke. She made this clear herself.
A lot of people missed it in Discord. But I was like half joking, not really, about like, oh my god, bro. Half joking, not really, about playing this guy to try to like, if it turned out he did have a crush on me or whatever, try to use that to my advantage to get myself a higher paying position and then fucking blackmail that bitch.
What?
I fucking recorded your ass. Leave me the fuck alone unless you want to get sued, bitch. I'm like looking for people to try to prey upon almost. This person is like a really nice person.
Isn't all money blood money in some way or another?
Like, I'm not here for a relationship. Fuck you. I've been hurt before and now it's your problem.
The problem with this is that Rachel Ford is a PA, a personal assistant in California. She has openly admitted to planning to record someone in the film department she's worked with, lead them on, and blackmail them for a higher paying position. Now look at this. What you're seeing on screen is her at her current boss's place, where she stayed at for an entire week a few months back. This shows her chilling ability to be able to get close to people and gain their trust. This isn't just a professional connection. She embeds herself into people's lives, gaining their trust while privately discussing how she can manipulate and blackmail for personal gain. Someone like this working in Hollywood getting this close to people should concern everyone. This speaks for itself.
I'm waiting for my opportunity to lull you into a sense of security, to wait for a moment where you're depending on me the most you ever had in your life so I can pull the fucking carpet out from under you and you fall hard on your ass and hopefully break something. That's the only time I say, yeah, it's fine.
And the whole hike, although it was like pleasant just because I'm like, oh, I'm glad he's like not being a creep. After the hike, he was like, yeah, I know we didn't meet up for like work reasons, but I still really enjoyed my time with you. And I'm thinking to myself like, oh, this was definitely work reasons for me, because why would I want to hang out with you, especially a 45-year-old white man? And talking about how like companionship or like finding new people to hang out with is hard, and that's why he's like glad that he can hang out with me. And why don't I have someone who just like is like, what you going to work for? Why would you do that?
Maybe it's because no one sees you as worthy of providing for. You've made it very clear that you're a liability. Your entire Twitch presence is one long confession tape, and now you want to sit here and play the victim? You treat people as tools, as stepping stones. No man who is financially successful and self-aware and respects himself would ever take himself seriously by dating you because you wouldn't respect him.
I interviewed with the guy who's like the producer of Blackish, right? He wanted me to meet him for like lunch or whatever. He was like super standoffish and just like seemed extremely uncomfortable with my presence.
Die. Slow. I hope your eyes fucking pop out of your head and you bleed from all your orifices, bitch.
You know, paid for everything, but was also just like, I gotta go.
What you are about to hear is beyond disturbing. Rachel Ford, a children's illustrator, someone entrusted with creating art for kids, once worked at a center for abused children under 10 years old. And yet when talking about these same children, she referenced them as fucked up little kids and laughed with joy at her own dark joke. This isn't just cruel, it's dehumanizing. Mocking children who has already suffered, stripping away their dignity, reducing their lifelong trauma to a punchline. No remorse, no hesitation, just complete indifference to their suffering. Keep in mind, Rachel Ford is in her 30s.
The next job I had, I was a psych major. I worked at this center. It was for like abused kids, like 10 and under, right? So I would administer tests on these like fucked up little kids, right? These kids had issues. I would administer tests, but they'd be abused in ways that made you like angry.
Like every guy that I've ever dated was sexually abused. Why do I always end up dating them?
Oh, I'll answer that question for you later in the video, Rachel Ford. I know you like having public conversations instead of private ones. Seems a bit messy, but I'll respect your form of communication.
So they saw the videos that I was posting slandering my manager. I get a call from the police department. Your manager is pressing charges against you for theft and also for threatening her unborn child. Threatening her unborn child. But yeah, they were like, yeah, you're threatening her unborn child. So they're pressing charges against you.
I don't care about, you know, children and all that shit.
We've already seen Rachel Ford's unsettling lack of empathy. But now we have to ask a more unsettling question. Why are children book authors working with an illustrator who laughs at child abuse? Especially if that illustrator has worked with those kids before. They're not fictional kids. Mariam Behadori, as well as the founder of Love activist Alyssa Silver, likely has no idea that Rachel Ford holds these disturbing views.
And die. Slow. I hope your eyes fucking pop out of your head and you bleed from all your orifices, bitch.
I'm gonna do some shiesty shit to you behind your back. Something's gonna happen to you. You can't prove it was me. Now you're just sitting there, where's my while I'm in the corner.
Unsettling views and actions, and if they knew, would they really want to align their brand with someone who mocks the very children their books aim to uplift? Their entire mission is about empowering children to become compassionate leaders. So why is Rachel Ford, who sees abused kids as a joke, illustrating their work?
The next job I had, I was a psych major. I worked at this center. It was for like abused kids, like 10 and under, right? So I would administer tests on these like fucked up little kids, right? These kids had issues. I would administer tests, but they'd be abused in ways that made you like angry.
This isn't just about the authors. This is about parents. This is about survivors. Does anyone feel comfortable knowing that Rachel Ford's name is attached to books meant for children?
We'll also provide the children in our program with the opportunity to be compassionate leaders and responsible citizens.
I might actually hurt somebody.
I was about to hit somebody in the face with a brick.
I did have to go to, a couple of weeks of anger management.
Bleed from all your orifices, bitch.
Rachel Ford's actions, which may poorly reflect on your corporation, are not from a single live stream. This behavior spans multiple live streams.
You guys see me crash out on here a lot.
I'm like looking for people to try to prey upon.
Like every guy that I've ever dated was sexually abused.
The truth is the light.
This shit can't be in the light of day. This shit can't be in the light of day. People can't know me like that. I don't want people to know. I don't want people I work with to like to know me. I'm afraid they'll be like, oh my god, did you know like she's on Twitch? Get over here, see my shit, and be like, y'all would be like, this fake asshole. As I'm praying around, I walk around all day, literally like telling myself to like smile. So I'm just like trying to, you know, act nice or whatever the fuck. And I feel like if people, not that I'm not nice.
I hope your eyes fucking pop out of your head and you bleed from all your orifices, bitch.
So if you're aware that your true colors may be a concern and a liability to employers and business partners, yet you display this side of yourself anyway, knowing that's going to be online for eternity, does that not show only poor judgment, but also disrespect to those you do business with? You're in your 30s and you state that you know better, yet your actions reflect poor judgment. If this was one of my employees or business partners, I would think to myself, if this is the type of stuff they say online, knowing that's going to exist forever, what are they saying privately that might leak one day and be a poor reflection upon my corporation's image? I would not play Russian roulette for someone I'm employing. I would find it highly disrespectful that someone I'm paying would put me in that position unnecessarily.
Anybody reaching out to me for sponsorship or trying to sign me doing something? No. This, whatever brand this is, not very marketable.
Everyone has their own points of view, and perhaps her future employers won't see her actions as a liability. Rachel Ford might not think her actions are a liability. After all, in her mind, all money is blood money.
No, I said Hitler money. Isn't all money blood money in some way or another? Didn't, for someone to become as rich as they are, a couple of heads had to be cracked along the way. A couple of people had to be stepped on as stepping stones along the way.
Watch as she tries to shamelessly justify the mass slaughter of the Jewish people during the Holocaust, all in the name of profit. Because if there's one theme in this video, is that for Rachel Ford, morals are expendable, but money isn't.
Jake, I was saying, is it wrong if someone gave you money and said, by the way, this money came from Hitler, would you not take it?
This is the kind of humor that feels like second nature to her. Watch as her own brother in a previous live stream casually jokes about the Holocaust, completely unprompted, as if it's nothing. No hesitation, no shame. And when Rachel hears it, she doesn't push back, she doesn't stop him. Instead of objecting, she laughs and says, "Oh my God, you're going to get me canceled." Because in her mind, the problem isn't a joke, the problem's getting caught.
Yes, tell my viewers.
Yeah, they should know. They should know. Like, I had a fart so bad, it would give Hitler bad ideas. Oof.
Wow.
It was good.
Now you're gonna get me canceled.
Yeah, I know. How you should have put me on the chat.
Rachel Ford cannot claim ignorance or pretend not to know the depth of Hitler's atrocities because someone in her own chat that she was actively engaging with pointed it out before he got cursed out. You know, Hitler killed like 6 million Jews, murdered them, plus killed millions upon millions. That was her moment to stop, to backpedal, to rethink, to acknowledge reality, but she didn't. She had a flashing, blaring warning sign, whether you call it fate, karma, God, the universe, or just plain common sense, telling her, go back. Don't go down this path. And what did she do? She doubled down. She still tried to justify it.
If someone gave you money, Jake, and was saying like, oh, by the way, this money is like money Hitler touched. But here you go. Fun fact about this money. It used to be in Hitler's pocket. Here you go. Would you be like, no, I can't take this money. I can't take $1 million because Hitler touched it.
The more her audience pushes back, the more hostile and aggressive Rachel Ford becomes. Even as she snaps at them, she's still trying to justify taking money from Hitler. Blood money is blood money. It carries the weight of genocide, the weight of lives stolen, the weight of lives sacrificed for that money to exist. Rachel argues that because Hitler is dead, somehow that makes it fair game. That it's fine to take money tainted by mass murder, as long as the murderer is no longer around to spend it. But that logic erases the victims. It spits on their suffering. It spits on their graves. It says, once the oppressor is gone, their crimes don't matter anymore. And if the victim left behind something valuable, why not profit from it? She finds value in the suffering of others.
No, Jake, Hitler's already dead. Hitler's already dead. Hitler's dead and gone. And someone's like, hey, I'm donating $1 million to you. By the way, this money came from Hitler's safe. By the way. But Hitler's already dead and gone. Done and whatever. Do you want to take this money? No, I said Hitler money. It doesn't even matter. Yes or no? You said no. Who fucking cares?
Rachel Ford, if it doesn't matter, why ask the question? This is your 5th time asking. It's almost like you don't like the fact that he disagreed with you. Logically, if someone gave you money from Hitler and said, hey, this is blood money, they know that this money was raised and only exists because they know that people had to die in order for you to have this money. At this point, you know what you're asking because it was brought up to you. You're minimizing the Holocaust and you're aware of it.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, bro was getting on my nerves. Ugh, Jesus.
She then banned someone from the chat who has the audacity to disagree with her. Rachel Ford does not want an audience. She demands an echo chamber. If you don't share her anti-Semitic views, you're disposable. She asked the same question 5 times, desperate for validation. And when she didn't get it, watch how she flipped the script. Suddenly, she's the victim. She's the one being attacked. In her world, disagreement is aggression. She will ban you and then sit there and tell her audience, you shouldn't wake up tomorrow. Psst. Side note, if she listened to him, this entire segment wouldn't exist. This woman is in her 30s still making decisions that she's going to regret and then take her anger out on other people later in life. Sad.
That's a damn shame.
You know, oh, what did you say about your hypothetical? And then trying to get on me about my hypothetical. Well, no, you said this. Well, no, actually, you said, go away. Go the fuck away. Like anyone who has anything to say and wants to complain about this shit, like, honestly, go eat a fat chick and choke on it and die. Slow.
It sounds like Rachel M. Ford, children's illustrator, personal assistant, and Hollywood set designer just told all Jewish people to go die. Because who is going to push back against what she's saying? Most likely the Jewish people. The person that she wished death upon may have been Jewish himself. Who is going to complain about what you're saying? The Chinese? The Mexicans? The Russians? No, it's most likely going to be the Jewish people. So you just essentially told all Jewish people to go die. You could sit there and say you didn't mean it like that, but what did you mean then? Because who's most likely going to be offended by what you just said? Why is Twitch allowing this blatant mockery of the Jewish people on their platform? And for those who don't know, Twitch is owned by Amazon.
Like, anyone who has anything to say and wants to complain about this shit, like, honestly, go eat a fat chick and choke on it and die. Slow. I hope your eyes fucking pop out of your head and you bleed from all your orifices, bitch.
Yes, tell my viewers.
Yeah, they should know. They should know. Like, I had a fart so bad, it would give Hitler bad ideas.
The fuck? Shut the fuck up. Do not say shit to me. Don't make any suggestions that I didn't fucking ask you for, and don't come in here being like, well, actually, get the fuck off my page. Actually.
Personal assistant and Hollywood set designer Rachel M. Ford, let's get one thing straight. You're the one who wouldn't shut up about this question. 5 times you asked. Desperate for someone to justify it for you. Now he was getting on your case? No, he was answering your question. And you hated the answer. You didn't want a discussion. You wanted validation. And when you didn't get it, you snapped. You're not fooling anyone. You can't gaslight your chat when the footage speaks for itself. In 4K.
If you annoy me just a little bit, get off my page. If you want to go talk the way that you want to talk and be in charge, go get on your own fucking stream. I don't fucking care. I'm on mine. This is my thing. This is my life, my rules, my stream. Don't like it, get the fuck out. Yeah, so many mood killers on this app. Like, go away. Trying to correct me and get me, like, I'm not gonna fucking apologize to anyone. Limp shit. Bet you got liver spots on your dick. Get that shit checked. And when you get it checked, I hope it's bad news. I'm just kidding.
Jewish people, she's already made it clear that she's not going to apologize, and we both know what that means. If she suddenly backtracks now, it won't be out of regret. It'll be because she's trying to avoid the consequences and escape accountability. She didn't care before, and I hope that she keeps that same energy, instead of serving up a fake apology to pacify the very people that she mocked, while minimizing their history. And I want to make it clear, I am not Jewish, but I refuse to stand by while an entire group of people's suffering is bastardized and openly dismissed. If you are Jewish, or if you stand against anti-Semitism, share this on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, or any other place maybe I haven't thought about. The real question here is, why is Twitch, why is any professional entity aligning with someone who actively minimizes the Holocaust and justifies genocide? Twitch is paying her. She's making money while she's spewing anti-Semitic rhetoric. If you feel compelled, reach out to Twitch. Share this with very prominent Jewish figures who speak on anti-Semitism, such as Ben Shapiro, or Jewish figures on Instagram, for example, RavenReveals, because she's black and Jewish and she speaks on anti-Semitism all the time. However, at the end of the day, these Jewish influencers are not obligated to speak on this issue, but I thought it'd be good if the Jewish community has their voices heard directly. Because if you try to have a discussion with Rachel on her platform, you will be silenced, you will be blocked, while she normalizes anti-Semitism to her audience. So let's circumvent her silence of the Jewish community by having an open discussion in the public.
Like, anyone who has anything to say and wants to complain about this shit, like, honestly, go eat a fat chick and choke on it and die. Slow.
Rachel Ford doesn't just tell people to die slow. She even turns that same lack of empathy towards her own mother. Live on stream. She comes in your room to show us a lovely painting that she made. Meanwhile, the entire energy is off in the room because you just turned your mom into an inside joke and she has no idea what you just did, making your own mom look foolish while she stood there obliviously.
And I found
an old journal of my mom's that she was writing in before we were born. Like, writing about having an emotion that was very valid to have, and then the next sentence saying, oh, I shouldn't feel that. And then the end of the journal is her saying, I feel like it's wrong for me to complain as I do in private, so I feel like it's probably best for me to stop journaling. And that was the last entry. And I'm just like, you don't allow yourself to express yourself even in alone. You're like, no one knows about this, and you won't even allow yourself to be free in private. So how did we ever have a chance as her children? Oh yeah, I'm just on stream if you want to say hi to them. Oh, my mom does oil paintings, y'all. This is a hobby she picked up last year. Look how good she is. This is where she's at. So, yeah. That looks really good. This wave right here is my favorite. So that was my mom. She came in to show off a painting. The timing was crazy, Chosen, I know. Yeah, the timing was crazy.
Mrs. Ford, I want to let you know that that's a lovely painting. It's very calming, yet empowering. Instead of prioritizing the inside relationship with her mom and protecting that bond, she prioritizes the parasocial relationship with people that she will never meet in real life. Once you put something out there on the internet, it's going to be out there forever. It doesn't disappear. She just implied that her mom is a failure in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people.
So how did we ever have a chance as her children?
This is worse than stealing $5,000 from your parents. This is worse than making an offensive joke about your parents. You made your mom the joke. The entire chat was in on the joke, except for her. You even looked at the camera knowing exactly what you were doing, and you were completely fine with it. You felt no remorse, no empathy about it. The only reason why you'll feel bad about it after this is because you got caught. You got called out. If you actually felt bad, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. The chilling part is that your mom will know that. She'll know that you had no hesitation in doing this, and any shred of guilt you feel after this will only be because you feel bad for yourself. It's not about how your mom feels, it's about self-preservation. How dare you imply that all your shortcomings can be traced back to your mother?
So how did we ever have a chance as her children?
Rachel Ford, I didn't know you knew French. Who is we? You're the only one still living at home.
I am the only fuck up in my family that still needs to be here.
Your older and younger brother has moved out and has built successful lives for themselves. She didn't fail them, so what's your problem? Take some accountability for your life, for your choices, and put some respect on your mother's name. How dare you betray your mother so people on the internet can feel sorry for you? That doesn't just show a lack of respect for her, it shows a lack of respect for yourself. Mrs. Ford, if you ever see this, know that you are not a failure. Your other two children has moved out and has proven that they can stand on their own 2 feet without having to emotionally manipulate people, hoping to get a handout because they believe the world owes them something.
The government should pay my bills to be like, you know what, let's keep her happy and stress-free. That's what I want. I feel like that's what I deserve, actually.
It's kind of gross how you would brand yourself as a crash out and how you lack impulse control, yet you would not only talk about your mom on multiple streams, but also invite her on multiple streams so we could see, oh, this is the person that raised her.
And die. Slow. I hope your eyes fucking pop out of your head and you bleed from all your orifices, bitch.
You already make your business partners and people that you work with look bad. Don't do that to your mom. Rachel Ford, if you're willing to disrespect your own mother after you just made her look like an incompetent oof, are you capable of bullying your own followers? Because we've seen how you've treated your followers so far. If you're capable of doing that to your own blood, but not your followers, that's actually more disrespectful to your actual blood.
I also view like sharing secrets and like personal information like that as like a blood bond thing. I would never tell somebody this, like, you're a special, like, inner circle person to me.
And I found an old journal of my mom's that she was writing in.
I believe Rachel's already aware that there's a few double agents in her community that has been side-eyeing her for a few months now, even though they buy subs and support her and go along with the narrative that she sets so this way they don't stick out. She has been aware for quite some time now that people take screenshots of what she says privately and record her live streams, which is how a lot of this footage actually exists. She's been aware for months that the core group is compromised and has been for quite some time now. And yet with her knowing that, she would still prioritize these parasocial relationships over the one with her mom. That's insane. And honestly speaking, because of that, if more people in her community don't start side-eyeing her after this, then they don't respect themselves.
I'm gonna do some shiesty shit to you behind your back.
myself, as well as other people in her community, has at least another 72 hours worth of footage. She sincerely believes that the world owes her something. I don't say the following lightly, and I wouldn't include it in this video if I didn't genuinely believe it myself. Rachel shows clear behavior patterns often associated with narcissism, such as a constant lack of empathy, disregard for others, using others as a tool and discarding them when they no longer serve a purpose, and a fragile ego. I strongly urge that anyone close to Rachel look into NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, as well as the cluster B spectrum. I want to make it clear that Rachel's audience is most likely going to defend and enable all of this behavior because she trauma dumps on her audience, building a trauma bond with them.
Happy tears cry, you're still locked in. This is essentially the same as being blood bonded with me. Just know we're soul bonded. If I ever sad cry, if I ever sob out of sadness in front of you guys, just know we're soul tied now.
Rachel, you have a bachelor's degree in psychology, so I don't know if you're doing it on purpose or if you genuinely don't know, but this is not a soul tie, this is not a blood bond, this is a trauma bond. You say yourself that everyone that you have ever dated has been SA'd. That's alarming. That's a red flag for you.
Like every guy that I've ever dated was sexually abused. Or is that like not a common thing? Because that's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. That's not common at all. Every single live stream is you trauma bonding with your audience. People who have been abused, they see themselves in you, and that makes them feel vulnerable with you, simultaneously validating you. So it works out for you because you get validation while simultaneously gain control over people who are vulnerable. Every guy you've ever dated has been SA'd. You are the common denominator. It means that, not to be rude, but it means that you're damaged goods attracting damaged goods, which is why people act weird around you, because they can see that. It's obvious. You have a habit, you have a pattern of building unhealthy relationships, meaning that the relationship that you have with your audience is extremely toxic and unhealthy because the foundation of it is built on you trauma bonding with them. Rachel stated earlier that she had to go to anger management for stealing at work. Now she has a community that enables all of her toxic behavior. So because she has a base of enablers enabling her unhealthy and toxic behavior, that proves that she builds toxic relationships. And as we saw earlier, she would choose the toxic parasocial relationship over real life relationships like the one with her mom. There are two people in her core circle that can see this as well, but what I'm wondering is how many other people outside of the core or within the core can see this as well, but are not saying anything. Because if people in her real life can see the same thing, and I'm proving right here, right now, that people online and people within her community can see the same thing, well, it's like, okay, well, how many other people in her community can see this as well, and it's not saying anything, it's just going with the flow. People keep her around as entertainment, but they keep their distance from her because they can see, like, something's off here.
He was like super standoffish and just like seemed extremely uncomfortable with my presence. You know, paid for everything, but was also just like I gotta go.
I'm telling you, females are so weird towards me. I don't know what it is that I do, like, or why it happens.
Anyway, I've given you the pieces to the puzzle throughout this video. Let's put it all together before we go into the conclusion.
This person is like a really nice person. I'm like looking for people to try to prey upon.
Like every guy that I've ever dated was sexually abused.
Just know we're soul bonded. If I ever sad cry, if I ever sob out of sadness in front of you guys, just know we're soul tied now.
Did anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Puzzle complete. Rachel, while I have your attention, I want you to know the world does not owe you anything. You're going to refuse to take accountability that you chose this timeline, completely overlook multiple reasons why this video exists and the contents within the video. You're a grown adult in your 30s blaming yourself for missing 100% of the shots that you never took. And because you regret not taking those shots, you now wish to tear other people down to lift yourself up because you feel like the world owes you something. You owe it to yourself to take off the mask and stop hiding from yourself and look within, something that you refuse to do.
And how they really need to like get closer to themselves spiritually or heal their inner child. Oh, I'm so sick of people saying like, you gotta heal your inner child, you gotta heal your inner, you gotta break the generational curses. Like, yeah, okay.
You avoid internal growth like the plague. You have built an entire brand over you being a crash out. That means that you lack impulse control, and then you want to blame your mom.
So how did we ever have a chance as her children?
You are 30 years old. Because crashing out is not only the theme of your Twitch, the theme of your Discord, but it's also the theme of your life. You don't actually want to change. You just want to complain.
I am the inspiration, like, dreamer person, like, big picture, like, oh, I like to, like, think about, like, how something should be. And if someone's like, okay, well, here are the little detailed steps to get there, I'm like, Shawty, don't come at me with all that, like.
That's a damn shame.
There are multiple layers to this video, specifically this timestamp right here for her. to do self-work, she's not going to do any of it. You just heard it. None of it will be done.
You guys see me crash out on here a lot.
These platforms don't fucking like me, bro. Okay? The jokes I was making, I was getting fucking penalized, banned, you're off, you're this, you're that.
So she comes online, shows her true colors, and she stated herself that who she really is not really marketable, and she doesn't want people in her real life to see who she really is.
This, whatever brand this is, not very marketable.
This shit can't be in the light of day. This shit can't be in the light of day. People can't know me like that.
Yet, she expects these social media platforms to accept her true colors, who she herself said is not really marketable.
It's a miracle that I even continue to still like put myself out there.
There's a lot of footage I didn't include in this video, but you know, one time she got sued for slandering her manager online. Online affected her real life. She made a joke that deeply offended her mom and affected her relationship with her mom. Here we are again in this video. She doesn't learn. This is history repeating itself. Rachel Ford is a very fascinating individual because she keeps returning to the scene of the crime. She didn't evolve from where she was at 10 years ago.
You never grew beyond your days in the flask.
And then now it's like, okay, I'm starting over on Twitch. We'll see how this fucking goes.
Yes, we will see how this goes. I understand you've probably never been called out to this extent before, and I would hate to be a part of your life's diary. I'm just some random guy online. I shouldn't affect your overall mood once this video ends. Your enemy is not some random guy online. Your enemy is in the mirror.
I can't like sleep that night until I go back and rewatch my entire stream on 2x speed.
Rachel, if this is your 4th time watching this, I hope you've been taking notes so you can talk about ways to improve with a therapist. If this is your 8th time watching this, I assume it's because you're trying to find the victim loophole. You won't be able to find one because you've probably realized by now that this is a long life battle with yourself. Anyway, it's almost 9 o'clock and I have to wake up by 6 o'clock, so let's wrap this up. I'm probably going to chop up this video into smaller segments and upload it throughout April just so I have content and this way it's more digestible to other people. And because it's long, it's probably going to be like 20 shorts that I'm going to be able to get from this one video. And then you can find them on my social medias. If you're someone who likes to screen record shorts and post them to other social media platforms, it would be appreciated if you linked back to this so this way people have the full context and don't see just some crazy woman saying,
like, anyone who has anything to say and wants to complain about this shit, like, honestly, go eat a fat chick and choke on it and die. Slow. I hope your eyes fucking pop out of your head and you bleed from all your orifices, bitch.
Shabbat shalom to the Jewish community and to those in Hollywood circles who may be unsettled by her blackmail and recording people comments. It's up to you if you choose to share this within certain communities within the Hollywood industry. I'm not telling you to do that. That's up to your discretion. However, I do think that this is worth discussing. So if you want to share this in like forums for like personal assistance, art department forums, Hollywood forums, that's up to your discretion as well. Remember, you can also use the hashtags that I provided on screen throughout this video to join the discussion. This is not an attack or a campaign against this person. This is just trying to raise awareness and discuss certain behaviors because like I said, this is a direct insult to the Me Too movement, talking about recording someone and using them. That's like you're harming actual victims there. And in the Jewish comments, you know, spreading anti-Semitism on your platform, that's also worth discussing. That's all. This is just a discussion. As stated earlier, if she feels like I took anything out of context, she can invite me on her stream. We could talk about it face to face in front of her audience, and it will save it over here on my YouTube channel, and it will be the pinned comment below. If you're seeing this 6 months later and there's no pinned comment below, well, then that means that she declined and that I didn't take anything out of context, so there's no reason to slander me. I'm also very interested to hear from children's authors, regardless whether you've worked with this individual or not. If you have a book that blows up and ends up on Good Morning America or Tamron Hall, and then the illustrator is tied to, you know, controversy, saying anti-Semitic things as well as other crazy things online, how would you feel about that? I wonder if Rachel Ford will ever stop blaming the external world for her problems and start facing the internal world that she's been running from. And if she doesn't, how much more collateral damage will she cause along the way?
Fuck you. I've been hurt before, and now it's your problem.
With that being said, I'll see you all in the next one. Until next time, guys, you are loved.
Oh, I envy people who can quote movies and stuff. And I'm like, here's a quote by Socrates. I'm like, you're smart.
Socrates is not a movie, he's a philosopher. When the debate is lost, slander becomes the tool of the loser.